This is a human, and this is a turtle. Now, if we evolved the way turtles did, first we need to understand one thing. A turtle's shell is not some separate exoskeleton growing on the outside. It is mainly formed by the ribs and the spine fusing together. That is why turtles cannot just crawl out of their shells. For us humans, the ribs are the bones wrapped around the chest cavity. Their main job is to protect the heart, lungs, and internal organs. But turtles basically dumped all their evolution points into ribs. Their ribs became wider and wider, pushing outward like crazy. Eventually, they fused completely with the spine and formed one solid shell. Not only does it protect the core organs, the head and limbs can even retract inside. Among all vertebrates, this is an absolutely hardcore move. But there is a cost. These massive ribs ended up wrapping around the shoulder blades, which were supposed to sit outside the rib cage. So turtles cannot naturally drop their arms down like other four-legged animals. Instead, they have to bend their elbows downward and support themselves with their hands facing inward. To understand turtles better, you can find a cylinder that fits around your body, put yourself inside it, and then try to support yourself on the ground. You will quickly realize, in that posture, your hands can only face inward. Now that the principle is clear, let's begin the evolution. If humans wanted to grow a turtle-style shell, our ribs would have to become wider and larger. They would push outward and even wrap around the pelvis. And just like that, we complete the ultimate turtle transformation.
Turtle Man!
Now, armadillos are often compared to turtles. They also look like they have shells, but they are completely different. Armadillos actually have a real external armor. Their original ribs remain perfectly normal. Instead, hard bony plates grow from their skin. In other words, their armor comes from the skin. The difference is simple. A turtle moves bones it already has inside the body outward to become a shell. An armadillo keeps its internal bones where they are, while the skin grows extra hard armor. So, if humans evolved like armadillos, we would become this.
Armadillo Man!
Armadillos mainly live in the Americas. Their shells are not only hard, but also surprisingly flexible. Some species can even roll their entire body into a ball. In 2015, there was a news report about a man in Texas who shot at an armadillo. The bullet reportedly bounced off the hard shell and ricocheted back toward him. So yes, turtle ribs are already amazing, but ribs can do much more than that. You can also evolve like a flying lizard, stretch the ribs outward, grow a membrane between them, and use that as a pair of gliding wings. When you glide, the ribs spread out. When you are done, they fold back in. Our ribs normally curve around the body to protect the organs, but if we wanted to glide, we would straighten part of the ribs, wrap skin around them, and complete the transformation.
Flying Lizard Man!
Flying lizards can only glide. They cannot actively fly like birds. But if you think simple gliding is still too basic and you want to truly fly like a bird, then your body needs several key upgrades. First, birds have to flap their wings constantly in the air, so their chest muscles are extremely developed, and that means their breastbone also has to be especially strong so it can handle the pull of those powerful muscles. Even if a human trains huge chest muscles at the gym, that is still nowhere near enough to fly. You would need your breastbone to protrude forward, creating more attachment space for the chest muscles. Then you would need those chest muscles to grow to an abnormal level. Only then could you become
Birdman.
Speaking of birds, we have to talk about one of the strangest geniuses in the bird world, the owl. Owls have twice as many neck vertebrae as humans. Humans have 7. Owls have 14. Although they have more vertebrae, each one is not very long. This makes the owl's neck incredibly flexible. It can rotate almost 270 degrees, but owls did not get this rotating neck just for fun. Owl eyes are tube-shaped and fixed in place. Their eyeballs cannot move around like ours, so if they want to look to the side, they have to turn their entire neck. If you want an owl-style neck, double the number of neck vertebrae. Then your head turning will be smoother than anyone else's.
Owlman.
Another animal with a shocking neck is the giraffe. Even though a giraffe's neck is so long, it has the exact same number of neck vertebrae as humans, 7. The difference is that each vertebra is stretched much longer. No need to add more bones. Just stretch each individual bone. Simple. So for humans, we stretch every neck vertebra, and we get
Giraffe Man.
But there is one tricky problem. A giraffe's head is about 5 meters above the ground. Its heart is about 3 meters above the ground. To push blood all the way up to a head that is 2 meters above the heart needs to generate extremely high blood pressure. For comparison, normal human blood pressure is around 120. A giraffe's blood pressure can be around 260. Now imagine a giraffe lowering its head to drink water. Its head suddenly moves from far above the heart to about 3 meters below it. Because its blood pressure is already so high, a huge amount of blood would suddenly rush toward the head. Then, when it lifts its head back up, the blood would rush back down again. Under normal logic, the brain should instantly lose oxygen, just like when a person squats down and then stands up too fast. But giraffes do not have this problem. Just to drink water safely, the giraffe evolved a network of small blood vessels in the head. It works like a sponge, buffering and distributing the blood flow. Another animal with a ridiculous body part is the elephant. But contrary to what many people think, an elephant's trunk is not just a nose. It is a specialized muscular structure formed by the complete fusion of the nose and upper lip. There is not a single bone or joint inside, packed with dense muscles. That is why it can be as flexible as a human hand. If humans wanted an elephant-style trunk, fuse the nose and upper lip together, then stretch them forward as far as possible.
Elephant man.
If elephants are the gentle faction that turned the nose and mouth into a hand, then the next animal is the violent faction that maxed out the combat power of the mouth. A human mouth can open to about 30 degrees. A hippo can open its mouth 150 degrees. Add those iconic half-meter-long teeth can bite through the body of an adult crocodile. This absurdly large mouth is made possible by powerful jawbones. Also, the jaw joint sits very far back on the skull. So if we want a hippo-style mouth, we need to enlarge the jawbone and push it forward, expanding the range of motion to 150 degrees.
Hippo man.
Hippos spend most of their time in water. They do not need to support their body weight on land for long periods. So compared with elephants and other large land animals, hippos have very short limbs. But do not be fooled by those short legs. Hippos can sprint at around 30 kilometers per hour, much faster than most humans can run. In sub-Saharan Africa, many communities rely heavily on rivers and lakes in daily life, and those areas happen to be the core territory of hippos. That is why among large wild land animals in Africa, hippos are often considered one of the most dangerous to humans. If hippos dominate African waters with a giant mouth, then another African giant, the rhinoceros, dominates the grasslands with a hardcore manicure on its nose. And here's another counterintuitive fact. A rhino horn is not bone. This is a rhino skull. There is no horn growing out of the bone. The horn is mainly made of keratin, the same material as human fingernails. It is a specialized structure grown from the surface of the skin. It is not directly connected to the skull. If it breaks, it can grow back. From the skeleton, you can see that the rhino's nasal bone is thick, rough, and raised, gives the horn a solid base to grow on. But human nasal bones are very ordinary, so if we wanted to grow a rhino horn, we would first need to transform the nasal bone, making it thicker and more raised. Then we would install a giant piece of keratin on top. Only then could we complete this magnificent transformation.
Rhino man.
Rhinos use this giant fingernail on their nose to dominate the grasslands. But far away in the Arctic Ocean, there is another powerful creature with something that looks even more dramatic. At first glance, it looks like a horn, but it is not a horn at all. It is an extremely long front tooth sticking out from the middle of the face. This is the narwhal. Narwhals only have 2 teeth in the upper jaw. One of them, usually the left one, becomes extremely long. It can grow up to 2 or 3 meters. And this tooth is full of nerves. It can sense water temperature, water pressure, and salinity. Basically, it is a built-in detection probe. Usually only males grow such a long tusk, because to a large extent they use it for display and attracting females. And over time it just got longer and longer. Humans have 14 teeth in the upper jaw, so if we wanted to copy the narwhal look, we would need to make one incisor grow in a spiral shape. Then let it push out from between the nose and the upper lip. Only then could we complete the transformation into an ocean unicorn.
Narwhal man.
Let's end with horses. After tens of millions of years of evolution, the horse hoof eventually kept only one toe, the 3rd digit. In other words, the middle finger. So every step a horse takes is basically flipping off the entire world. And this middle finger is especially long. It can make up around 40% of the horse's leg length. That is why a horse's forelegs look so long and elegant, allowing it to take much larger strides. In the human forearm, we have 2 bones, the radius and the ulna. These 2 bones allow the arm to rotate flexibly. But in horses, these 2 bones are almost fused together. So a horse's front limbs cannot rotate freely like human arms. But losing that rotation has one major advantage: much greater stability. For horses, all those extra complicated movements are meaningless. If their legs twisted around like human arms, they would be much more likely to injure themselves. So if we want to transform into a horse human, the process is very direct. First, lift your heels completely off the ground. Then evolve away all toes except the middle one. Finally, stand and walk on that single middle toe. And there you have it.
Horseman.
Besides these, you could also transform into a T-Rex, pterosaur, frog, ostrich, a lizard-winged dog, and many more. Just kidding. In nature, evolution is an incredibly long and complex process. But organizing, connecting, and evolving your ideas, that can happen in seconds. Thanks to the latest version of EdrawMind, we can now take our thoughts one step further with the power of advanced AI. EdrawMind is no longer just a tool for making clean, structured mind maps. It is becoming a more visual, more flexible AI thinking workspace. First, there is the new agent mode. Think of it like an AI chat window built right inside EdrawMind. You can bring in web pages, videos, images, search results, or raw notes, and turn them into mind maps, slides, Kanban boards, summaries, or content ideas. So yes, if all you need is one finished image, tools like Nano Banana or ChatGPT Image can be great. But for a breakdown like this, you need more than a static picture. You need something you can edit, expand, reorganize, and actually use as a thinking tool. Second, EdrawMind introduces the new hand-drawn mind map mode. With AI, you can turn scattered ideas into a hand-drawn style map, add matching illustrations, apply smart colors, edit images, and make complex information easier to explain and share. So what's really upgraded in EdrawMind can now help you speak your mind and see it designed. AI helps you start faster, and the editable mind map helps you understand deeper. Try EdrawMind for free through the link below and start evolving your ideas today.